This is the story of a man. A lonely man. A man living alone. He's lived alone for as long as he can remember. Why? He doesn't know. He spends his days doing odd jobs around the house, or when it's warm enough, he likes to sit on the grass outside and ponder the meaning of life. In the evening, he watches television. Nothing in particular. Just whatever's on, or whatever's not sports. Unfortunately for him this evening, though, his television starts to play up and loses its signal. He sits there, frustrated, hoping it'll sort itself out, when suddenly it loses power completely, and shortly after that, his whole house goes down. Great. Just great, he thinks to himself as he sits there in the dark pondering what he should do next. It's late, so does he just go to bed and deal with it in the morning, or go outside to the fuse box and try to fix it? He soon decides it's best dealt with now, gets up and goes out the back door. Once outside, he is overcome with a very odd feeling. He looks up and is frozen in shock with what he sees. A huge creature is in his yard, just sitting there, staring at him. It has a huge head and a small body, a lot like a baby, except this thing is massive, and this thing looks hideous. It has two huge empty eyes and several thorns sticking out of its head. What the hell, he thinks to himself. Where did this thing come from? And what do I do now? Hello, he offers up, not knowing what else to say. The creature just stares back at him as its oversized head tilts around as if it's also trying to figure out what it's looking at. Who are you? He asks, but once again, nothing. The creature appears to be holding some kind of stick, like a huge breadstick, which it slowly pushes into its mouth and stirs around. The man has no idea what to make of this, and no idea what to do next. Then it pulls the stick out of its mouth, its mucus clinging to it like glue, and then offers it up to the man in what appears to be a gesture of friendship. The man, however, is repulsed by this and shouts at the creature to get this disgusting thing out of his face. He then asks the creature where he came from and what he's doing here, but once again, there's no reply. The creature, not comprehending any of this, playfully raises the stick and then throws it past the man where it smashes into the door of his house. The man has now had enough. With newfound courage, he shouts at the creature and tells him to get out of his yard or else he'll call the police. The creature, unfazed by his outburst, just stares back at him in a naturally unsettling way. This infuriates the man even more, coupled with the fact of how stupid he must sound, talking to a monster baby, and how even stupider he would sound trying to explain this to the police. Then, the baby lurched forward and grabbed hold of the man. I'm not having this, he thought to himself, and he sunk his teeth into the creature's hand and bit down as hard as he could until it released him. He fell to the ground, and then watched closely as the creature's bottom lip began to tremble, and then he winced as it let out a god-awful scream as it rolled back onto the ground, crying its eyes out. The man had had enough. Perhaps if I call the fire brigade, he thought to himself, or the army, or... Suddenly his train of thought was halted as he saw an enormous pair of hands descend from the darkness above, and then pick up the creature. The man's legs went weak with fear as he looked further up into the heavens to see a huge fist bearing down on him. It struck him with incredible force and smashed him into the ground below. He had often wondered what lay out in the great wide world, and now he would never know.